Okay, today is Sunday, October the 6th, 2024. We're watching Hurricane Milton in the western Gulf of Mexico. This is the long-wave IR map showing the very early stages of development of this storm, and you can see the rotation develop after it's targeted a couple of times, once on the north side and another time down here on the south side. Let's watch what happens. Now this map, the long wave IR, shows the depth of the water vapor. The black is the deepest, and these colors on the outer side are the less deep. They're shallower. All right, so let's just take a look and watch what happens. You can see the icicle patterns around the edges as this thing is targeted and superheated. The water vapor is superheated. It expands. It's like boiling water. It's like, you get high pressure and you see steam, and you see, a lot of icicle patterns as that water vapor rushes out, and you see pressure waves and different things. But watch what happens here. Let's just take a look. Now we see rotation develop towards the end of the loop. This is a 400 frame loop on the Tropical Tidbits website. So right here we don't really have rotation. It's hit from the north side, right here. Now we see everything change. The color changes. It rebuilds, and then it gets hit from down here, and it rebuilds, and then we see the rotation. So what happens is when these areas around the edges of the storm are targeted, you see downward spiraling clockwise vortices. That's a clockwise spinning column of air on the outside, and you see that on the north side as well. And what happens when you get a couple of those, the inside of this storm spins opposite. It's kind of like a planetary gear set. You can look that up on YouTube and find out what a planetary gear set is. Basically, one gear surrounded by other gears. The outer gears turn one way. The other gear in the center spins in the opposite direction. Well, this works kind of the same way. And so this is how they develop the rotation and get a storm spun up. Okay. Next, let's look at this is the long wave IR map in the College of DuPage. We see here the western Gulf of Mexico. This is scheduled to hit Tampa Bay around Wednesday at between noon and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Currently, if it hits Tampa the way we think it will, it'll cause catastrophic flooding, probably 20-foot, 25-foot storm surges. Let's take a look at the Hurricane Center map. This is Milton. 85-mile-per-hour winds right now with a central pressure of 981 millibar, moving east at 7 miles per hour. Here's the storm trek, and currently it's showing that it could hit between Tampa and maybe Fort Meyer. It could be a direct hit on Tampa. If it hits anywhere near Tampa as a major hurricane, it's going to cause catastrophic flooding, and people just need to get the hell out. Okay. So you can see the icicle patterns around the edge of that storm as it's targeted, and then we see rotation develop. This is a 200 frame loop. You can see the pressure waves moving out right there. There's another one. Long wave IR. We see more rotation visible as this storm is targeted. Let's go ahead and take a look at Hurricane Helene, which hit the Florida area last. last week. Wrong map. Okay, this is Helene. You can see right angle imprints on that eye wall as it moves right into Steinhatchee. Let me show you a couple of things here. This is the eye wall of Hurricane Helene last week. Take a look at this manipulation going on right there in the eye wall. We're going to put the envelope right there. The envelope is going right in there in that contour. That's a perfect right angle. The only thing that would cause that is a phased array microwave transmitter. A phased array antenna has many elements, and they all work together. And you can see that they're hitting the outside of this eye wall. They're not hitting the center of it. The center is where all the lift is. But the outside, when you hit it on the outside and then you pull the power off, it rebuilds with such ferocity, and the storm becomes stronger. If you hit the thing in the center, which we see regularly on the Pacific coast, because they never let hurricanes hit California because that's where most of the donors for a certain political party reside, and that's where all the big bucks come from, so they wouldn't dare mess that up. So there it is. And so I saved these loops just to show what happened here. Now, what's very interesting about Hurricane Helene is that the eye wall did not dissipate much after it first made landfall in Florida. It was well up into Georgia before the eye wall actually fell apart. It was a very strong storm, Category 4, with I think it was 949 millibar pressure when it made landfall, if I remember correctly. But anyhow, the next loop was made. This one here was 6 hours later. You can see the right angle imprints there on the edge of the eye wall as it made landfall. And the flooding that it caused both in the Carolinas, Tennessee, Virginia, Georgia, is something that has affected a lot of the red states. Those 5 red states have been deeply affected by this storm. And of course, Hurricane Milton is going to do the same thing. Tampa is the largest, and St. Petersburg, St. Pete's and Tampa are the largest population center. It is the largest population center in Florida. So when they wipe this down with Hurricane Milton, we're going to have problems. All these people are going to be displaced. They're going to be picking up the pieces. Their homes may be completely destroyed, flooded, and blown away. And the last thing they're going to worry about is going somewhere to vote. They're going to be worried about food, shelter, and how they're going to start their lives over. Voting is probably not going to be high on the priorities list. That's the thinking that's going on here right now, folks. If anybody hasn't connected these dots yet, let me just help you. These storms are being targeted. These states are being targeted. These conservative states, these red states are being hit deliberately by these weather controllers. And the only way we can stop these people is to get their uplinks and downlink, their uplinks, take control of their uplinks and their equipment that is controlling the satellites, the algorithms that are causing droughts and preventing rain in different areas of the world. There's a network of satellites that are doing this. They're controlled by American interests, and so people need to be aware of what's happening. This has been going on for many years. I've made over 1,000 videos on this channel, and YouTube has censored this channel. It's beyond belief. The subscriber base sat at about 9,950 subscribers for a year and a half. It didn't budge over 10,000 because the 10,000 is a magic number with the YouTube algorithm, where you start getting a lot more play. Your videos are promoted and sent out to other people. Of course, they don't want that with this kind of information, because these deep state ghouls don't want anybody to know that they're controlling weather and making money off of it. but that's what's happening. So what else do we have here? Yeah, okay, that's Helene. Now, for anybody that isn't familiar with the WSR88D, let's go ahead and just, first of all, let's go ahead and just show those people once again what a WSR88D actually is. And this is what they look like. This is a transmitter, a microwave transmitter, which is stacked in this radome about 6 stories up. And this transmitter will put out approximately 750 kilowatts of microwave power on demand. Now, normally these are used to as weather radar, daily, day-to-day weather radar, where we watch where the rain and the snow appear around the country. All right, so in the case of Milton, we want to keep an eye on this transmitter right here, which is the Tampa transmitter. Now, note these coordinates right here. Tampa, Florida. KTBW is the name of that WSR88D. It's located at this point right here, 27.7054701 north by 82.40179 west. If you put those into Google Earth, that'll show you exactly where the transmitter is. We're going to keep an eye on this particular transmitter because when Helene went through Florida and the rest of the states last week, we didn't see a single WSR88D in action. I'm showing you these right now. This is Helene from September 25th and 26th. You don't see any transmitters in action here except for way up here in Morristown, which is just north of Knoxville. This is known as the Knoxville transmitter right there. All right, so that's the only one we saw as Helene plowed through these 5 states and wrecked people's lives. So let's go ahead and look at the next shot here. This is Morristown up close. We can see these pie-shaped cutouts from that transmitter evaporating the rain in Tennessee. This is Oak Ridge, Knoxville, Tennessee, Morristown, and so forth. Here's the North Carolina border. And over here, Asheville was wiped out. You can see all the thunderstorms on this side where there was no WSR88Ds in action. So this was a planned event to knock out the voters in North Carolina, and it worked out pretty well for the deep state. But people should be watching these videos and paying attention to what's going on. You can see right here, there wasn't a single WSR88D in action as this thing plowed right into Florida, and also Georgia, and all the rest of it, South Carolina, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Virginia. Here's another shot. There was a lot of flooding in the Tampa Bay area, and this thing stayed way offshore. Helene stayed way offshore, but the fishermen way up in Tarpon Springs mentioned how they had never seen that type of flooding ever in their long careers as sponge fishermen. Tarpon Springs is just north of Dunedin, right up in this area, I guess. Okay, so that's pretty much the report. We'll keep an eye on KTBW in Tampa. That's the WSR88D down there in Tampa, and we'll keep an eye on that and watch what these devils do with this hurricane, because they can stop this. I've shown many instances of how these people can stop these hurricanes. It happens all the time on the West Coast, as I mentioned, because of the donors, the certain political party, the big corporate people in Silicon Valley. Okay. All right, so we're just going to leave it right here. And this storm was jump-started. The rotation was helped. We see that here in this long wave IR map. We hit it. Colors changed, rebuilds. They hit it again right down here. And then it rebuilds, and we got a lot of rotation right there. See that? Boom. You got yourself a hurricane. Okay, that's it.